Hello, and welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast. I'm your host, Elissa Shuck. Whether you're going for that next promotion, looking for a job, or making a career pivot, I'll teach you how to navigate it all so you can have the career you want. This is Love Your Work Life, episode 107. Today is part one of a two-parter, and the topic is decisions. Why don't we make decisions? Why do we avoid making decisions? It's really easy to think that it's kind of something to be fixed, right? Like, well, it's just procrastination or lack of discipline. We might even think that, well, there's not enough information to make a decision. But the truth is, the reason that we have a hard time making decisions is because of the stories we are telling ourselves about what's on the other side of that decision. The story of what if. And isn't it interesting how the what if is always a negative? Almost always. You've got to train yourself for what if to be a positive. What is on the other side? What if I get rejected? What if I mess up? You know how mess up, we don't even have mess up defined. We just know that messing up isn't good, and so we're going to avoid that, right? Our brains are trying to be so helpful by avoiding all of that. But you can actually decide to tell yourself a different story. Another one is, what if I put myself out there and I don't get the promotion? I get kicked in the teeth. There are so many what ifs that our brain tends to run wild and create such a story that you become paralyzed in indecision. Sometimes the story that you're telling yourself is someone else's story. It's not even yours. It could be being an entrepreneur is unstable. Go work for a company that you can count on, that's stable, where you're getting a paycheck every single week. Well, my friends, how do the hundreds of thousands of people that have experienced layoffs in these last few years feel about company stability? The story that a company is stable is just that. It's a story. Some people love startups, and some people can't even imagine working for a startup because the story is they're chaotic. Well, the story that a startup is chaotic is motivating to one person and demotivating to another. One person will love working for startups and the other person won't. So you see how the story that you're telling yourself is reflected in your view of the world and your ability to make decisions. These stories are really just thoughts, but they have power. Because thoughts have the power to change our feelings, and our feelings are what take that decision into action. And when I say action, I also mean lack of action. Inaction is still action. So one of the reasons you might be stalling your decision is because of the feeling you might experience as a result of that action. If you apply for the job, you might get rejected. Of course, you don't want to feel rejected. So you don't make any decisions about what's next for you. If you reach out to the recruiter and do a short screening call, what if they don't like you? What if you don't move forward? If you ask for the raise or ask for the promotion and you don't get it, it's going to be disappointing. So you start telling yourself you don't know what you want so that you never have to make a decision and take action to get it. Nobody wants to feel rejection or failure or disappointment. But here's the thing. Those are just simply emotions that come with the package, that come with our experience of life as a human being. And I don't know about you, but remember junior high? If we can survive that, we can survive anything, including momentary failure, feelings of disappointment, feeling deflated. You can manage it. It's actually possible to get on the other side of an emotion. So if the feeling that's associated with the story is what's stopping you, I also have news for you, my friend. By avoiding decision, by staying in the job that is toxic, that you don't like, that's boring, that doesn't do it for you anymore, by not making a decision to leave or take steps to leave, you are actually choosing what you have over and over and over again. Your indecision about leaving is your decision to stay. The thought that you are stuck, the thought that you don't have options is a lie. You do have options. You're just choosing not to see them. And that all comes back down to that story. You're denying yourself the positive what if. What if it does work out? What if you don't fail? What if you actually do get the raise or do get the promotion? I just did a speaking engagement recently, and it was all about salary negotiation and promotions. The statistics, if you want to look at it, 85% of the people who negotiated a salary got a better offer. So even if you want to go to the stats, which in some ways are their own version of a story, right? You can look at it like 85% of people got a better offer and be encouraged by it, or your story can be 15% of people didn't get a better offer and let that discourage you. So you have to ask yourself, why are you focused on the 15% story versus the 85% story? Because the negative story means you don't have to decide. You can stick with a story that your brain is telling you to keep you safe. Because you know that's what it's really about, right? It's just your brain operating as it's designed to keep you safe from harm. And sometimes negative emotions feel like harm. They're painful. It takes a lot of energy to deal with them. I totally get it. But if you're going to go down that path of all of the negative possibilities on the other side of that decision, then you owe it to yourself to give what one of my coaches calls equal airtime to the positive. That means if you're going to play out all of the possibilities of what might go wrong, then you've got to play out all of the possibilities of what might go right. So if you spend 20 minutes stressing out about it, then spend 20 minutes engaging with what could really be awesome about that decision. Because after all, a decision is just a committed action driven by a committed thought. That's it. And we've got the power to change our minds anytime we want to. New information, change your mind. Make a decision. Make lots of decisions. Making decisions is so healthy. When you are stuck in indecision, you're just stagnating. It's not good. So practice making decisions regularly. Small decisions, they can be big decisions. It doesn't really matter. It's about making conscious decisions. Instead of letting yourself go on automatic pilot, choosing what you have over and over again because of the story you're telling yourself about what's on the other side of that decision. Sometimes the stories didn't even come from you. They're buried deep inside and you're carrying someone else's story. Stories that don't serve you anymore. They don't serve the kind of life and career and health, whatever it is you want out of life. If those stories aren't serving you anymore, then maybe it's time to start making better decisions. Think about your options and then choose one. This is your power, my friend. The most powerful thing we have available to us is to choose our thoughts and to be intentional with those thoughts and the connection those thoughts have to the decisions and actions that we'll take in our life. What decision have you been putting off? Why have you been putting it off? You're not broken. You're not procrastinating. You're not even undisciplined. You might be just on autopilot, living a story that doesn't fit anymore. So give yourself permission to make a decision and make it quickly. Don't overanalyze. Don't go too deep. If you find yourself overanalyzing, ask yourself if it's your brain's clever way of avoiding decision. Just decide and know that you can always change your mind and you can always have your back in those decisions. Be the friend you need with those decisions. What if it all does work out? And whatever the result is, that you know you made a conscious decision to put yourself in that place and to get value out of it, no matter what the result was. You were exercising your power as a human being to make a decision. All right, my friends, I will talk to you next week. We're going to continue this conversation with some new ways to think about decisions and take the power of decision making in our lives even further. I'll talk to you then. Here's the thing. You are going to work 90,000 hours in your lifetime. That's 30% of your life. And for some of you, it's probably even more than that. So you might as well take control of it. Learn the skills you need to learn. Get the professional development resources you need to excel and deliver and have impact. That's what my membership, Control Your Career, is all about. Join for $20 a month or $197 a year. If you want VIP treatment, you can get access to that too. The bottom line is I want you to have all the resources you need to create a thriving career anytime you want. And when you hit some blocks, then I'm going to give you some things on how to survive too, week after week, month after month, inside Control Your Career. Go to elissa-careercoach.com/control-your-career. I will see you there.